Panic erupts in the Galactic Council as humanity ends all talks. The Galactic Council had never known silence like this. Not the respectful kind, the terrified kind. Ambassador Valern's tendrils trembled as he read the message again, hoping he had somehow misinterpreted the words. But no. The human delegation had just sent their final transmission. Effective immediately, humanity withdraws from all council negotiations. All treaties are null and void. Do not contact us again. The chamber erupted into chaos. No species has ever left the council, a Zelvari diplomat hissed, their bioluminescent skin pulsing with panic. Their economy will collapse without trade, a Krell warlord bellowed, slamming a clawed fist on the table. Ambassador Valern barely heard them. His mind reeled with the implications. This wasn't just about trade. It was about survival. Because if humanity wasn't part of the council, they were uncontrolled. And everyone knew what happened when humans weren't bound by rules. 1 hour earlier, council chamber, high orbit over Zaltrath Prime. Ambassador Elias Carter sat at the long, curved table of the Galactic Council, his expression carved from stone. Around him, dozens of alien representatives droned on, their voices a mixture of clicks, warbles, and growls. He had stopped listening 30 minutes ago. They thought they were clever. That humanity hadn't noticed. But he had. Ambassador Carter, the council speaker, a towering insectoid being named Veshkor, finally addressed him. Let us return to the matter at hand. The human-controlled systems in the Talvari's expanse. You mean the ones we legally settled? Carter cut in. A brief pause. Then Veshkor clicked his mandibles. The council has determined that, in the interest of maintaining balance, humanity should cede several of these systems to more established members. Carter exhaled slowly, clenching his jaw. Balance. A nice word for theft. You mean to say, he said carefully, that despite our terraforming efforts, infrastructure, and the countless lives we've poured into these systems, you want us to just give them up? A reptilian diplomat from the Zorath Empire flicked his tongue. Consider it a sign of goodwill. Carter laughed. A dry, humorless thing. He leaned forward, hands steepled. Goodwill. Like when we agreed to share our medical advancements, and suddenly our ships were being denied access to key trade hubs. Silence. Or how about when we enhanced council security networks, only for our own military data to conveniently leak to rival species? More silence. And let's not forget that mining embargo. Oh wait, that's still happening, isn't it? The representatives shifted uncomfortably. They were caught and they knew it. You've been testing us. Trying to see how much we'd endure before we pushed back. Carter's voice was cold now. And I'm here to tell you, you've just run out of time. Veshkor chittered, a note of uncertainty in his voice. Surely humanity would not risk breaking its standing in the council over. We're done. Carter stood. The words hung in the air like a gunshot. The council chamber trembled with murmurs of disbelief. This is rash, a Zelvari delegate sputtered. You cannot. We can, Carter cut in. And we are. He turned toward the exit, pausing only to deliver the final blow. As of this moment, humanity is no longer a member of the Galactic Council. All treaties are void. Our technology, our fleets, our research, off limits. He let the weight of those words sink in. Do not contact us again. Then he left. And the galaxy went into freefall. Present time, aftermath in the council chamber. This is a disaster, Valern whispered. He could already see the ripples spreading. Humanity controlled crucial trade lanes, advanced weaponry, and entire fields of scientific research that other species depended on. And now it was gone. Ambassador Shylek of the Terii, a race known for their ruthless economic maneuvering, was already pale with dread. Their jump drive technology alone is irreplaceable. If they cut access, we must get them back, a Krell warlord snarled. If they refuse, you'll what? Valern turned on him, voice sharp. Attack them? Have you forgotten what happened to the last species that tried to subjugate humans? The chamber fell into a heavy silence. Everyone remembered. The Vorlon Dominion had learned the hard way. A species with superior numbers, superior ships, and centuries of war experience had tried to break humanity. They were wiped out in 2 years. Humanity didn't fight like other species. They didn't seek honor. They didn't care for traditional battle doctrine. They fought to win. And now that force had just gone rogue. Valern turned toward the towering screen at the end of the chamber, where humanity's final transmission still glowed in bold, unforgiving text. Do not contact us again. He swallowed hard. The galaxy had just made its worst mistake. and they had no idea what was coming next. The Council is in full-blown panic. The galaxy has relied on human innovation, strategy, and resources for decades. Now, humanity has cut all ties and gone independent, something no species has dared to do. What happens next? What is humanity planning? The consequences of betrayal. Ambassador Valern's throat was dry. He could still hear the echoes of the Council's desperate arguments bouncing off the high chamber walls. The alien diplomats weren't just panicking, they were unraveling. And for good reason. Humanity hadn't just left. They had taken everything with them. Valern turned his gaze back to the screen, where the human transmission still pulsed ominously. Do not contact us again. 4 simple words. Yet the weight behind them felt crushing. The Galactic Council had spent decades underestimating humanity, trying to control them, siphon their innovations, manipulate their goodwill. Now, in a single moment, all of that had vanished. Shockwaves across the galaxy. The repercussions spread faster than an FTL jump. Within minutes, distress calls flooded into the Council chambers. This is Outpost Vetra 6. Our trade shipments have been denied access to human-controlled lanes. The Terran AI systems we integrated into our planetary defense grids have shut down. We have no control. Earth has pulled its medical research from the Galactic database. Our doctors are reporting critical shortages. The Council had been so focused on politics that they had forgotten how deeply humanity had woven itself into the fabric of galactic society. Their faster-than-light relay network? Human-engineered. The interspecies translation protocols? Human-coded. The Council's cybersecurity firewalls? Human-reinforced. The realization hit like a plasma strike. Without humanity, the galaxy was crippled. The Council's mistake becomes clear. The Council speaker, Veshkor, stood frozen as his aides whispered urgent reports into his ear. His mandibles twitched erratically, a nervous tic Valern had never seen before. We must re-establish diplomatic ties. Veshkor stammered. Send a delegation to Earth immediately. Do you think they'll even let us land? Ambassador Shilek of the Terrii snapped, his usually calculating voice shaking. We just spent years undermining them. Why would they trust us now? They have to, Veshkor hissed. They need us just as much as we need them. Valern closed his eyes. No, they don't. That was the Council's fatal miscalculation. They had assumed humanity needed their approval. That humanity wouldn't dare isolate itself. That without the Council, humanity would flounder. But humanity had never played by the rules. And now they were about to rewrite the game. The first blow falls. A sharp alarm blared through the chamber, interrupting the frenzied debate. A holographic alert flickered to life in the center of the room, displaying the insignia of the Galactic Trade Authority. A trembling bureaucrat appeared on screen. His insectoid wings twitched erratically. Esteemed Council members, he croaked, we have a situation. Valern braced himself. The Terran Trade Fleet, the official continued, has ceased all external exports. All trade convoys bound for Council-affiliated worlds have been recalled to human space. Silence. Then chaos. Impossible, a reptilian warlord snarled. They wouldn't. They did, the official interrupted. And that's not all. His wings fluttered wildly. Their megacorporations have cut off access to all human-designed technology. Any species reliant on human-engineered systems is now locked out. A low, horrified murmur rippled through the chamber. That was half the galaxy. From cybernetics to weapons systems, from terraforming to energy infrastructure, humanity had its fingers in everything. And now, the galaxy was seeing what happened when those fingers were ripped away. Worlds plunged into chaos. The reports came flooding in. Zorith, 5, a planet that had depended on human atmospheric stabilizers, was now experiencing violent storms. Drelak Mining Colony, its automated AI overseers, human-built, had gone offline. Productivity plummeted overnight. Medical outposts, human-designed nanotech once integrated into galactic healthcare, was suddenly restricted. Patients were dying. The Council had wanted to keep humanity in check. Now they were seeing what unchecked really meant. Desperation and division. This is a nightmare, Shilek whispered. His usual cold demeanor was gone, replaced by pure fear. If we don't fix this, the economy will. To hell with the economy, bellowed General Karash of the Krell warlords. His scaled fist slammed onto the table. If they're trying to starve us, we should take what we need. Valern's stomach dropped. He could see it happening already, the Council fracturing. Some wanted to negotiate. Others wanted war. And humanity? Humanity was watching. Humanity's next move. Open a channel to Earth, Veshkor ordered. The communication officer hesitated. Sir, they've blocked all council transmissions. Blocked. The council didn't have the power here. Then what do we do? Shylock demanded. The room fell into a tense silence. No one had an answer. Then a new message blinked to life on the holographic screen. Not from the council. Not from a panicked ambassador. From Earth. The room froze. The message contained just 2 words. Watch closely. A shiver ran through Valern's body. Because if he had learned anything about humanity, they never bluffed. The council is in freefall. Economies are collapsing, worlds are spiraling into crisis, and the fractures between species are deepening. Some factions want to negotiate, others want war. The council is powerless to stop what's coming. Humanity has just sent a cryptic warning, watch closely. What are they planning? The words, watch closely, still flickered on the central holographic display, taunting the council like a silent executioner standing over their heads. Valern's hands trembled as he adjusted his diplomatic robes. The council chamber, once a place of order and calculated debate, now resembled a war room. Shouting, desperate whispers, and thinly veiled threats filled the air. Humanity had walked away from the table. And now the galaxy was on fire. A desperate attempt at contact. Try again, Council Speaker Veshkor demanded, his voice taut with barely contained panic. The communications officer, a lanky avian with wide, frantic eyes, shook his head. They aren't responding to direct diplomatic channels. Every transmission from the council is being bounced back. What about backdoor relays? Shylock hissed. We used them before to monitor human movements. They shut those down first, the officer admitted. A nervous ripple spread through the chamber. The humans knew. They had always known about the council's surveillance efforts, and they had let them believe otherwise. But now, no more favors, no more tolerance. Valern exhaled slowly. What about independent channels? He asked. Merchants, smugglers, civilian networks? The officer hesitated. Some non-governmental sources report limited communication, but it's inconsistent. Valern narrowed his eyes. Inconsistent how? The officer swallowed. They're only responding to select groups. Private entities. Non-council factions. The room went deadly silent. Humanity wasn't just leaving the council. They were choosing who to engage with. The first defections begin. A sharp chime echoed through the chamber, cutting through the rising tension. A new transmission was coming through, but not from Earth. The symbol that appeared on screen was from the Vielis Syndicate. A murmur spread through the chamber like wildfire. The Vielis were infamous. One of the most powerful economic forces in the galaxy, operating outside the Council's jurisdiction. Their trade empire spanned multiple systems, and despite their reputation for ruthlessness, even the most law-abiding civilizations depended on them. The face of Syndicate Lord Ikari's Vielis appeared on the screen, his silver eyes gleaming with barely restrained amusement. Esteemed Council, he said smoothly, I regret to inform you that the Syndicate is officially restructuring our trade agreements. Veshkor's mandibles twitched. What are you talking about, Ikari's? The Syndicate Lord smirked. We are now operating under a new primary trade partner. Effective immediately, all of our commerce will be conducted under exclusive contracts with the Terran Confederation. The chamber erupted into chaos. You can't do that. Shylock bellowed. You rely on council-controlled space for transport lanes. Ikari's laughed. Do we? You seem to forget, humanity owns over half of the primary relay lanes already. And now that they've pulled out of council space, they've given us full access to their networks. Why would we bother with your bureaucratic red tape when we can operate freely under the Terrans? Valern felt his stomach sink. The council had been so focused on the direct losses from humanity's withdrawal that they had ignored the indirect consequences. The humans weren't just leaving. They were taking everyone who mattered with them. The galaxy fractured. Reports started flooding in. The Kalari Science Consortium, the most advanced research collective in the known galaxy, had announced a full technological partnership with humanity. The Larkin Defense Coalition, one of the Council's most powerful military blocs, had begun secret talks with Terran military leadership. The Scalvari banking guilds, responsible for managing interstellar currency flows, had begun shifting their financial hubs toward Terran-controlled territories. The Council wasn't just losing power. It was crumbling. Valern watched as the Council members, once confident in their dominion over the galaxy, began turning on each other. Accusations flew. Allegiances cracked. Old rivalries reignited. And in the midst of it all, humanity had simply walked away. The final ultimatum. Then the broadcast came. Unlike the last message, this time, it wasn't just for the Council. It was for everyone. Across every communication network, from the richest inner worlds to the farthest outposts on the galactic rim, a single figure appeared on screen. A human. She was dressed in formal Terran military attire, her posture calm, unwavering. The emblem of the Terran Confederation gleamed on her chest. To the species of the galaxy, she began, her voice sharp and commanding. Humanity has been watching. We have seen how the Galactic Council operates, how it manipulates, controls, and exploits those under its rule. And we have chosen to take a different path. She let the words settle before continuing. From this moment forward, humanity will no longer participate in a system built on deceit and coercion. We will not be shackled by laws designed to suppress innovation. We will not trade with those who seek to weaken us. But for those who seek true partnership, those who value mutual progress, we welcome you. Together, we will build something greater than the stagnant rule of the Council. A slight pause. For those who would seek to challenge us. The lights behind her flickered, revealing a staggering sight. A fleet. Not just any fleet. The largest Terran armada ever assembled. Ships that shimmered with unknown technology. Weapons that pulsed with untapped power. A force that made even the most war-hardened species hesitate. She smiled coldly. Watch closely. The screen went black. The galaxy holds its breath. No one spoke. The transmission had ended, but its impact still lingered like a shockwave after a supernova. Shylek's claws twitched. They've been holding back. Valerne exhaled sharply. Of course they had. The Council had spent years trying to control humanity, fearing what they might become. And now they had just been given a glimpse of what they were. An empire in the making. Veshkor's voice was hoarse. We have to act. We have to. A new alert cut him off. A military alert. Multiple Council border outposts had just gone dark. The chamber erupted into chaos once more. But this time it wasn't just panic. It was terror. Humanity isn't just leaving the Council behind, they're forging their own empire. The most powerful independent factions are siding with Earth, leaving the Council fractured. The Terran military just unveiled a fleet beyond anything the Council expected. Council border outposts are mysteriously going dark. Has humanity already begun its first strike? Panic erupted in the Galactic Council chamber. The alert lights flashed crimson, a warning that multiple outposts along the Council's borders had gone completely dark. For a moment, no one moved. No one spoke. Then chaos exploded. Ambassadors shouted over one another, scrambling to make sense of what had just happened. Military representatives frantically cross-checked reports, their faces pale as they realized how systematic the disappearances were. The Council speaker, Veshkor, slammed a trembling fist onto the table. Find out what happened. Now. A holographic map of the Council's controlled space flickered to life. Red zones pulsed where stations had vanished. It wasn't an invasion. It wasn't a battle. It was something worse. Humanity had erased them. The Ghost Offensive. Reports trickled in from surviving outposts near the blackout zones. They all said the same thing. There were no attacks. No warnings. No enemy fleets. The stations had been fully operational one moment, and the next? Silent. No distress signals. No weapon discharges. Nothing. It was as if the entire infrastructure had simply ceased to exist. We don't even have wreckage, a reptilian officer barked, his tail lashing. No debris fields. No escape pods. They're just gone. Veshkor's mandibles twitched with dread. The humans had capabilities they had never revealed. This is an act of war, Shylek growled, her scales rising in agitation. We must respond. With what? Valerne cut in, voice eerily calm. The Council's fleet is already stretched thin. If we commit forces against an enemy we don't even understand, we risk open collapse. Shylek bared her fangs. So what? We just let them do this. Valerne exhaled, looking around the chamber. No. We find out how. Because deep down he knew. This wasn't an attack. This was a demonstration. The human message. The Council didn't have to wait long. Within the hour, a new transmission spread across every major network. It bore no insignia. No formal diplomatic markers. Just two words. Final warning. The meaning was unmistakable. For centuries, the Council had dictated the terms of galactic order. It had used its influence to keep species in line, to control economies, to suppress anything that threatened its absolute rule. But now, humanity was dictating the terms. And the choice was clear: adapt or be erased. The unthinkable decision. Silence smothered the chamber. Veshkor clenched his fists. We cannot afford war with them. We must. They'll never stop, Shylock spat. Do you think they'll be satisfied with this power play? They will take more. And more. Until we are nothing. Valerne considered her words. There was fear in her voice. But beneath it, she was right. The humans had made one thing clear. This wasn't just about leaving the Council. It was about replacing it. Veshkor inhaled sharply. Then we have two choices. We either surrender to their demands, or we hit them first. The words came from High Admiral Renvok, a hardened warrior whose species had fought for the Council since its inception. The room froze. An ambush, Renvok continued. We lure their fleet into a conflict zone, disrupt their systems and strike before they can react. Valerne felt the weight of the suggestion. A first strike against humanity. One final desperate attempt to put them back in their place. Veshkor turned to the others. We vote. The results came back fast. 16 votes for attack. 4 votes against. The war was decided. The battle that never came. The trap was set. A fleet of 700 Council warships positioned themselves at the edge of neutral space, where a Terran fleet had been spotted moving towards a Syndicate trade hub. The plan was simple. A shock attack. Cripple their capital ships, sever their command structure, force humanity into retreat before they could bring their full strength to bear. Council forces waited. And waited. Then, the human fleet vanished. No jump signatures. No retreat patterns. No distress signals from the trade hub. They were just gone. Admiral Renvok's scales paled. What is this? Then a whisper of static. A single voice cut through the silence. You never had a chance. Every Council ship powered down instantly. Weapons, engines, communications. Dead. The crews panicked. Nothing worked. And then they saw them. A Terran fleet. Not the one they had expected, but one 3 times the size, emerging from the shadows of space. They had been waiting. They had known. A single command flashed across the Council ship's disabled consoles. Stand down. Last chance. The collapse of the Council. The battle never happened. Because it was never going to. The humans had already hacked the entire battle network before the Council even realized they were being watched. Admiral Renvok, humiliated, sent the only message left to send. We surrender. And just like that, the war was over before it began. The new order. The Council did not recover. Within weeks, factions defected, races withdrew their support, and entire civilizations flocked to humanity's growing confederation. Trade routes shifted. Economies collapsed. The Council, once the undisputed ruling body of the galaxy, had become irrelevant. And humanity? They never invaded. They never occupied. They simply offered a choice. Join them, or fade into obscurity. Final scene, the last Council meeting. Valerne stood in the ruins of the once great chamber, now half abandoned. The last Council speaker, Veshkor, sat in silence, staring at a flickering holofeed showing a human diplomat. Do you know what the worst part is? Veshkor murmured. Valerne waited. Veshkor's mandibles clicked softly. We thought we were the architects of civilization. His gaze darkened. We were just placeholders. The screen changed. A new order was being sworn in. Not a galactic council. A united confederation. And humanity was at its heart. The last words of the broadcast? Watch closely. The age of the council was over. And the era of humanity had begun. Fire, what do you think? Did the council ever stand a chance against humanity? Or was this the inevitable outcome? Comment below. High voltage love HFY stories like this? Smash that like button and subscribe for more epic sci-fi dominance. Rocket next story drops soon. Make sure you turn on notifications so you never miss the next chapter of humanity's unstoppable rise.